It always feels like whatever someone else needs and whatever someone else wants is louder than me. The energy of it is bigger than me. The complaint of it is louder than me. And somehow in my mind, I make someone else's problem not only bigger than me, but I also make it my problem. To where I feel like I have the responsibility to solve someone else's problem. And in this entire dynamic, I disappear. I don't matter anymore. My worth is tied up in solving their problem. My own needs get pushed to the side. My own desires are completely pointless in the face of someone else's needs. And I become so one with their problem that it consumes me. And the things in my life that need tended to go on the back burner. And inevitably, I end up suffering from trying to help someone else with their problem. And I tell myself that I do this out of love for them. And I tell myself that I do this out of care for them. But I'm not sure it accomplishes what I am actually trying to accomplish. Because when I look at what I'm really trying to accomplish, I'm really trying to accomplish their problem getting taken care of so that I don't have to deal with it anymore. So ultimately, the original act is coming from the place of clearing my own slate. But I end up making my slate fuller. And I can see that I make mine fuller because I'm claiming responsibility for something that isn't mine. And I'm unburdening them in my perspective, and thereby burdening myself even when it's not a problem I am meant to solve. So I see that what I've been calling helping is actually entanglement. I'm making somebody else's business my own. To my own detriment. And I can feel that in the decision to take on someone else's problem as though it was my own, I'm not setting up proper boundaries, such as in this hour or two of interaction, I will take this problem of yours as my own to help you figure it out. And then I will release this problem back to you for you to continue figuring out. And then tend to my own life. And when you come to me with this problem, I will properly assess how you created the problem and be honest with you about how you created that problem so that you have a better understanding of how to solve it. And I'm starting to see that I put too much of my own fears in the mix. Fears of what someone else can or cannot handle. Fears about what someone else is capable of doing. Fears about how someone else is going to actually be able to accomplish it without me. And when I include these fears, I then take on more and more responsibility in areas that are not mine to take responsibility for. So I see it as very clear and important for me to clearly define what the responsibilities of someone else are. For me to clearly define how someone else created the problem that they're in. And for me to clearly define what it means to help someone. And how important it is for there to be a time frame for me to comprehend, so that I know when to hand a problem back to someone. Because I'm not really helping someone if I'm controlling what they're doing. And I'm not really helping someone if I'm not encouraging them. to move forward in problem solving without me. And while I do love people, and I do love helping, I would also like a genuine life of my own. Where I get to focus on what I want to expand in my life. And where I get to focus on what dysfunctions I shrink and transform. I am allowed to fill up space in my own life. And I am allowed to fill up that space with my own needs and my own desires and my own choices. And I realize that too much of the time I spend thinking about someone else instead of thinking about what way I want to expand my own life. And I see that it's in the expansion of my own life that I inspire others. And it's in the expansion of my own life that I teach others about how to solve certain problems. And it's in my ability to focus on my own expansion and forward movement that I teach others about boundaries. Because I don't want anyone being dependent on me. I want others to feel proud of themselves. Because it's in them feeling proud of themselves that they're increasing their own self-esteem and their own self-confidence, and therefore have the happiest life that they can. And that's what I genuinely want for others. So I must do my best to believe in others, even when I see obvious mistakes, possible downfalls. Possible catastrophes. I still want to engage in my own belief in someone and my own respect for someone enough to allow them to walk that path of learning and to believe in them on that path. And to move in for assistance only when it's truly necessary. This is the balance I ask to master. This is the space I wish to fulfill in my own life. And in this space, I can exercise greater creativity, greater allowance, greater tolerance, more honesty, more accountability, and truer love. I do matter in my own life. My needs matter. My desires matter. For they shape what my life becomes. And it's the only life I have. So it absolutely matters. And from this point forward, I challenge myself to maintaining greater equilibrium in my dynamics, where my needs matter as much as someone else's, where my desires matter as much as someone else's. And where the space between us is equally filled by each. I am meant to enjoy my life. I am meant to love my life. And if I am not loving it, it is my responsibility to correct whatever the reason is that I'm not loving it. And that same responsibility falls to everyone else living their own life. And in this understanding, I allow each their own space, including me. I am whole. I do matter. I allow others to be responsible for themselves. Allow yourselves to come back.